Hi, my name is Cara and I'm in grade 10 at Oak Bay High School. For the past few weeks, we've been studying Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet and analyzing the plot and characters. In this play, we discovered many underlining themes that correspond with our human nature. For one of our activities, we chose a passage in the play that describes one of these diverse themes. The theme that I chose was the inevitability of fate. Who is William Shakespeare? What do we actually know about him? For one, we know that he was an excellent playwright, poet, and author that produced 37 plays, 154 sonnets, and 5 long narrative poems in his short life of 52 years. We know that William Shakespeare's established theatre, the Globe, still exists today in London. We also know a bit of his personal life, like his spouse, who had the same exact name of a popular celebrity today. However, who is this Bard of Avon, and what are his secrets? William Shakespeare was baptized on April 26, 1564, in Stratford-upon-Avon, England. He was the child of John Shakespeare, a leather merchant, and Mary Arden, a local landed heiress. William was the fourth of the Shakespeare's 8 children, only 5 of which survived till adulthood. When he was 4 or 5, William was enrolled at the King's New School in Stratford, a grammar school run for the benefit of the sons of civil servants like John Shakespeare. This rigorous education system was an influential part in Shakespeare's future writing development. At age 18, William married an older woman named Anne Hathaway. They had 3 children, Susanna, Hamnet, and Judith. Their only son, Hamnet, died at only 11 years old. After that, there are 7 years of William Shakespeare's life where no records exist. Scholars call this period the lost years, and there is wide speculation on what he was doing during this period. Some say that he was taken prisoner after hunting on another man's land. A more likely story is that he went and taught as a schoolmaster in rural England. However, there is no evidence that either of these tales are true. At his early ages of writing, Shakespeare only wrote comedies like Much Ado About Nothing and A Midsummer's Night Dream. Did you know that Shakespeare invented over 1,700 words, for example, dawn, gossip, eyeball, and many more? By the early 1700s, he moved on to more dramatic plays like Hamlet, Othello, and King Lear. Even though most of these plays have some sort of fatal flaw in the main character, or unleash the darker traits of the human personality, these works are considered his finest achievement. William Shakespeare's life was not an ordinary one. Even after more than 400 years since his death, his works of art are still being passed down from generation to generation, and will hopefully live on forever. Although some details in his exciting story are left out, we still have his plays and the clues and lessons within them. Anyone who has read or seen William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet knows of its tragic plot. 2 star-crossed lovers divided by their feuding families who ended up taking their lives, all in the name of one thing: love. This dramatic tale follows Romeo and Juliet through twists and turns to their devastating fate. The inevitability of fate occurs through each step in this tragedy. However, one main instant that displays the unchallengeable power of destiny is Romeo and Juliet's first encounter. In lines 54 to 59 of Act 3, Scene 2, the 2 newlyweds share their unknowing last goodbyes after their long-waited-for wedding night. Juliet compares her husband's moonlit face to a gruesome corpse. Methinks I see thee, now thou art so low, as one dead in the bottom of a tomb. Either my eyesight fails, or thou lookest pale. This displays foreshadowing for the future, of which both Romeo and Juliet become deceased. Juliet describes Romeo as dead in the bottom of a tomb, which also holds the unwavering force of fate and the significant causes that led to Romeo and Juliet's demise. For example, the feud between the Capulets and the Montagues. If there had been no feud, perhaps the play would have turned out differently. Perhaps Romeo and Juliet would have had a happy life without deaths or murders. However, then the story would not be as renowned as it is now, and there would be no connections to love or loss or fate. Anyone who has read or seen Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet knows of its tragic plot. But do they know of the inevitable circumstances and coincidences that led these 2 star-crossed lovers to their death? Do they know about the unyielding power of fate that underlines the plot and drives Romeo and Juliet to their gruesome ends? I chose this passage because I believe that Romeo and Juliet is not only about the couple's tragic love, but also about the force of fate that guided them on their journey to the end. Thank you so much for listening.